Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, is the PC Muscle Race himself, Mr. LeRon Dawkins.
What's poppin'?
LeRon, this is 2 episodes in a row with sleeves, I'm concerned.
It's the dead of winter here in Virginia.
The sleeves are getting longer too.
I know, they're getting longer. He's not wearing his,
look.
He's not wearing his
glasses.
I
got him partially up.
It's this new invention called January.
Next week, he's going to be having a turtleneck, and the sleeves are going to cover his wrists, guys.
Hey, I look damn sexy in a turtleneck. I'm just going to let you know that right now. Keep the beard all scruffy and shit, and yeah.
All right, do it.
I mean,
then.
I just got here, and I'm kind of like the trans by it, not going to lie.
Also joining us is the mad pharmacist, Stephanie Klimov. Hello.
Sup? You're looking at a brand new PS5 owner.
Yeah,
Woo!
only took you 12 days to break your resolution.
My New Year's resolution of not buying a new console this year.
Hey, we said she was gonna smash that. I don't even know why we're acting surprised.
I know.
I mean,
I can easily follow up on my diet and exercise and budget everything. Like all those resolutions, I can easily maintain. But gaming, nope, no promises.
I mean,
wait. You
it's
can
easy. Anybody can just fail a resolution and just move on with their lives. But if you fail it and be like, "Fuck that resolution," that's when you're a real one, as far as I'm concerned.
Our special guest tonight is it's very special guest. Someone who I have been friends with for a long time. We used to podcast together, and he's back. He's back here for a special episode. Mr. Matthew Kiel, the myth,
Hello,
the man,
it's me.
the legend. Hi, Matt.
You called me a man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, I noticed that you started growing facial hair at the age of
weird.
what?
It's weird. I was finally able to have a beard last year. It was so crazy. I hate it so much, but my wife loves it, so I kind of have to,
I mean, you gotta do what
I gotta.
wife
This
says,
is my
right?
compromise. This is my compromise.
How long did it take you to grow that one? The whole year?
Surprisingly, it took me like 2 months.
Yeah. Well,
it went from like 6 years to 2 months over the course of a pandemic. It's crazy.
It happens eventually, I guess. It's your youthful look.
I mean, I'm 42. I'm finally going through puberty. Let's just celebrate this for a moment.
Well, as my 6-year-old says, you know you're old when you start growing a beard. So congratulations, you are old.
Wow.
Does your 6-year-old say that to you? Because that's.
Yeah, he said that when I get old, I'm gonna have a beard too.
Make sure you remind that young man of his words when he gets to that point.
Yeah.
Because you know what's gonna happen. He's gonna be like a proud 15-year-old. He's gonna get those first hairs on his chin and just smash him with it.
Hell yeah, I got everything recorded.
That's funny.
Put it on TikTok and just save it.
Oh! Look at you! You're getting old, and then make him feel even worse about it. And be like, get like real close up to his face, and like, is that a gray hair in your beard?
Hey, that's not funny. I started finding them in mine like 6 months ago. Okay, I just can kind of, gotta pick them out when I find them. I just go.
Oh what? Oh no! Don't do that. Do not do that, because I started doing that. I wound up with mutton chops, gray mutton chops for like years. It took forever for it to just kind of even out throughout the rest of my face.
Yours look distinguished. Mine, I just look like the mid-30s man that is discovering white hair in his face. It's just, Don't worry, Matt. You'll find him in about 30 years.
Oh, God. I mean, I've already got, truth be told, I do have a few grays peppering the top, but nothing in the beard yet, as far as I know.
Yeah, but you have a lush head of hair. I don't have that problem.
Well, that's what happens when you bury it under a Fred Durst cap.
Hey.
Bringing back the old school.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Nope, Stoy beat you to in the Boss Rush era. He already beat you to it, so.
Probably, but I knew someone would.
I know.
We all know
Look,
someone would.
I have a red hat somewhere. One day, it's a Patreon stretch goal probably someday. I'll wear the red hat. Or I just won't wear a hat at all, which is very not what I want to do.
Yeah, I've seen you without a hat on. You're pretty handsome without a hat.
I know you have.
Yeah,
I've seen you in person without a hat.
Like this dude acts like he looks like a potato without a damn hat on.
No, it's not true. I just like my hat. Okay, I just like it.
I mean, I will say this: he and Sana came to Philly, hung out with my wife and I watched him eat a cheesesteak, and he does look like a potato when he eats cheesesteak. I'll be 100% honest.
I mean, it's fair. It was good though.
It's good cheesesteak, right?
Whiz and onions is amazing. I mean,
man,
those pictures popped up in my iPhone randomly gives you.
They still show up on mine. I'm like, wow, that was a long time ago. Huh?
I know, it was so long ago.
We could hang out in public.
I know. Yeah. Remember that? Remember we could go places and hang out?
Yeah. Remember when standing in line at a place was like a thing?
Yeah, and you could feel the person's breath behind you on your neck, and it was just really weird and creepy, but you just took it because it was public.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm.
But now, heaven forbid, someone within a 12-foot radius coughs, I immediately freak out and have a mental meltdown. What happened?
Yeah. Man, good times. Yeah. The before times.
Mm-hmm. In the long, long ago.
Yeah.
BC, before COVID.
Right.
Right?
Mm. So, Matt, you do things on the internet.
I do. Every so often.
Tell people what you do on the internet.
People continue to allow me to do things on the internet. So my name is Matthew Kiel. I co-host 3 podcasts. One about video games where 3 friends and myself, my friend Moose, my friend Jason, and my friend Michaela all get together, talk about games that we're playing. Sometimes we touch news, but most of the time we're just kind of free forming it. It's called Story Route Zero. You could find it on Twitter and every pod service available. Story Route Zero. Everywhere. I also co-host a podcast about music where my friend Caroline and we basically pick a genre or a band, and we come up with an 8-song playlist from that genre or band to bring us and hopefully the listener from a negative headspace to a positive one. It's called Trivial Merit, and the extremes of the playlist are controlled by dice rolls. So, for instance, one episode we had to do Whitney Houston, and it was from depressed to content based on the way we rolled the dice. We haven't done any repeats yet. I think we have 14 episodes, and we're about to start recording our 2nd season. All of my shows did take a break for the winter. And I'm slowly starting to ramp that up because I had some things to do this holiday season. My 3rd, final, last but certainly not least show is Freereeling It, where my friend Jesse and I, we basically pick a movie and we watch it and we talk about it. And then we also talk about what else we're watching. We've had some guests. It's really fun. And there are fireworks going on outside my window now.
I was wondering what that noise was.
I don't know. What
don't they know you're podcasting?
Oh, this is Philadelphia. They don't give a shit.
I know.
If I tell them I'm podcasting, they'll just climb the fence and come into my yard and be like, "This is loud enough?"
I'm aware. Us? I've been.
Yes, you have. But yeah, those are the 3 things that I do, and I apparently have to hide from fireworks now.
Yeah.
Life's a roguelike.
It's fine. You should hear me sometimes where I literally have to mute for 10, 20 minutes at a time because my son is crying. It feels like. So it's fine. Well, Matt.
Bagel does that too.
Yeah.
Sounds like Chewbacca and Jar Jar Binks had a child. It's crazy.
And not the good kind.
No, not the good kind of crazy.
It's fine. We love Bagel. We love Bagel. But Matt, I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
This is gonna be a good show. I feel it. I feel it in my bones, in my squeaky chair.
Let's be honest, Corey. It's not going to be either of our faults that it's good.
No, I mean, no. Nobody. Look, I've been saying this at the beginning. Nobody listens because of me. It's because of these people.
Oh, whatever.
It's also because of this.
Yeah. That's. I mean, yeah. See, I mean, I mean.
There you go. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Speaking of drinks, real quick, where's LeRon's fabulous Yetis? Like, I don't see.
I don't know. Why aren't you double fisting Yetis? He's slumming it with a plastic bottle.
Yeah, true. Because
less than 10 minutes in, and we're talking about fisting.
Well, I had to. I had to unpack them in the move. I unpacked them this morning, and they're actually in the dishwasher waiting to be run through.
It's a likely story. I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
He left them in the Yeti. No.
Oh God. Anyways, this is. Jeez. Glad to have you back, Matt. This is the Boss Rush Podcast, the flagship show of the Boss Rush Network, where each and every week we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about everything we played, watched, and more. You can catch the Boss Rush Podcast every Wednesday night live on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Network or on YouTube and podcast services every Monday morning. Remember, you can get the show 3 days early for just $1, as well as 2 weeks early access to After Dark and Standard Definition if you go to Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Follow us on all social media at Boss Rush Network. Join our Discord and Facebook group and find all of our shows and content on bossrush.net. Updates to the store. The Standard Definition Marvel shirt is up, so you can go check that out.
Yeah.
It's fun. And by the time you hear this on free feeds, the Indiana Jones Standard Definition shirt will also be up, which is a series that Matt is joining me on with Stoy as we go through the Indiana Jones films. You might be surprised when we get to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull how we feel. Teasers. So, very excited for those. Also working on a
Spoiler alert, it's not dog.
Also working on a Walt Disney Animation shirt as well for Standard Def. So, yeah. Check it out. Good times. You can also find all the logos and other merch there as well. You can just...
Boss Rush Podcast. Come on.
Yeah.
You know you want to.
Yeah. Look at Stephanie hyping up the merch.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's what's been entertaining us this week? Matt, you're our guest. So you're going to go first.
So, okay. The past week, what's been entertaining me? I did watch Raiders of the Lost Ark in the last week, so that's always entertaining.
So did I.
I know, but I'm gonna kind of break the rule in the last week because the past week has actually been not super entertaining. If you go back 7 days, other than Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's been a little busy here because I'm an X-ray technologist, so healthcare be full of burnout, y'all. But recently I've actually been doing a lot of reading. I read the book Roadside Picnic, which inspired the Andrei Tarkovsky movie Stalker, which actually inspired the Stalker games, which, spoiler alert for news, Stalker 2 was delayed till December. Good, because I have way too much to play anyway. But Roadside Picnic is a wonderful book, and it was actually way different than I expected it to be because Tarkovsky is one of my favorite directors, and Stalker is probably my favorite of his films. But if you've seen Stalker and like Stalker, Roadside Picnic actually makes a little more concrete sense than Stalker the movie, but it's a novella, so it's less than 200 pages, and it's surprisingly easy to read for, considering the characteristics of Russian literature. Some of that is pretty heavy-handed and long-winded.
Yeah,
but
what's it called again?
It's not. Roadside Picnic.
Okay.
And also, I've been reading the manga Berserk. If anybody's heard of that, basically I've heard from friends and in circles that if you like the Dark Souls games like I do, chances are you will really like Berserk. Shocker, I really like Berserk. I'm in the middle of the third of the hardcover deluxe editions. And this is some of the best, I'll say it, comic shit that I've ever read. Because most of the time, I can read a graphic novel, and I appreciate that there's a beginning and an end. where sometimes when you try and get into comics, you have to get in the middle. Like this is the hard part for me, always getting into comics, because I've always been into like music and movies, and diving into certain sections of those, it's very overwhelming. Like if you've never really listened to jazz and you just walk into the jazz section, you are just inundated with, I don't know what any of this means. So where do I start? And comics was always hard, or comics were always difficult for me in that respect. And the fact that reading a manga, you kind of know where the story begins and how it progresses. Somehow that makes sense to me. But then also I've been playing, when I got back from my trip home to deal with some grieving, I did finish Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. And if any of y'all need a game that's just pure joy without being like a manifested pixie stick rush, where you get really, really hype and then just crash, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart's really fun.
I agree.
Can't wait.
If you've never played that series, like, you should. Anybody who ever read Calvin and Hobbes as a kid will probably find a lot to glean from Ratchet and Clank. It's a wonderful series, and A Rift Apart might be among the best in that series. But I feel like I've talked a lot, so... also, I always listen to the Persona music now that it's on Spotify, so if you want a good video game soundtrack, listen to Persona 4. You won't be disappointed. Who's next?
I've got like all these great recommendations.
Right?
I mean, it wouldn't have been a Matt sighting if there wasn't music referenced.
I'm always good for recommendations, so if you want something, I'll at least give you something. Whether or not you like that something, I tried.
Stephanie, what are you?
Just to reach back into the old memory bank, I talked about Hitman a lot on our previous thing, and when Corey tried it, he's like, "Man, I'm glad you like this, because I do not."
That's fair.
I'm like, damn, that sucks.
To be fair, okay, Hitman is a thing that I really enjoy watching other people play, and I just don't have the patience for it.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally.
You're not alone, Corey. I listened to, Left Behind Game Club. It's another podcast. When I was getting into podcasts.
Those guys are cool.
I love them, and they did a Hitman series. And actually, I played a lot of games based off of what they talk about. So I'm like, oh, it sounds so cool. I love the premise, and it is. I still like the premise, but I have a flaw, and I acknowledge said flaw, that I'm an incredibly impatient person. And I can't. I'm like, I don't quote unquote have the time to search for the coolest ways to kill people.
I like stealth games, but Hitman is not my cup of tea.
I'm telling you, man. Fair. It takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. It's just they want you to pull out all the stops with the freaking stealth kills, and I'm like, nah. I'm like,
that's if you're worried about score, because sometimes you could just put on a flamingo outfit, grab a fire axe, and just have fun.
True.
Also true.
Yeah, that flamingo outfit. I love it.
I'm that person for like every 10 minutes of stealth I do in Metal Gear Solid, I just run rampant, just shooting everything for another 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
My favorite Hitman series still is Giant Bomb's Hitsmith series that they sadly probably will never do anymore. Although I'm sure, I think Nextlander will probably do it at some point, but that's a story.
I mean, Vinny Caravella playing Hitman is
special.
it's a thing of beauty.
Especially that 3-hour one when Dan Reichert was just yelling at him the whole time.
Zanzibar.
Oh God. Oh jeez. Stephanie, what did you do this week?
So for shows, I watched Dumbo, but I forgot that that's not the next Disney movie we'll be talking about. So I have to watch Pinocchio this weekend.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because, I don't know. That's all right. I watched them with my son, and I was a little concerned because the last time I watched Dumbo, I'll talk about this more in standard def, like this scene with the pink elephants, like the bubbles, which I didn't realize, like he saw all that because they got drunk by accident. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it was. Well, it's not adult-ish. And when I was a kid, I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, those elephants gave me nightmares. And I'm like, oh, my poor son. he didn't care for Dumbo.
Dumbo's
gaming one. It is weird.
Dumbo's weird.
It's weird.
For games, I finished Doug Hates His Job. The game, the title is a lot cooler than the game itself. I bought it when it was on sale. It was on sale for like $2. The concept is cool in that it has like the TV show The Office vibe, where like every cutscene is it's a mockumentary, like they'll interview someone like from HR or the boss, and every level is a different type of like game style. Like one is a stealth segment, one is or there's several beat 'em ups, side-scrolling beat 'em ups, and then another platformer. So the concept's all there. It's a very short game. It was like 40 minutes long, but it's very clunky. You could tell it's done by like a couple people. Like the hitbox is just so uneven. Like I would walk up to an enemy and I swear I'd barely be touching it and my character just dies instantly. So, but it's okay. I'm going to finish Escape from Life, Inc. And also I finally hopped back into Ghost of Tsushima. I took a break from that so I could play Guardians of the Galaxy, and now that that's done, I just really want to focus on Ghost of Tsushima and just pour my attention and get lost into the universe. I think that might be my last game before all of the 2022 games come out and I spend all my money on the 2022 games.
And the 2022 games started coming out today. Monster Hunter came out on PC.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
LeRon's complaining that he has to be here, so he can't play Monster Hunter.
Well, okay, so first of all, like,
LeRon's right. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Capcom can be dumb as hell when it comes to their PC games, because they flipped the switch for this game at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Why would they do that?
Yeah. I have no fucking clue. I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I got a little bit of time to kill after I work out this morning, because it's Wednesday. So, of course, I work out like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Of course. Got to wake up for that workout.
And I was like, I got a little bit of time to kill before I clock in. I can go ahead and use the hour and a half I have from my workout till the time I have to clock in, because I work from home, and start Monster Hunter just so I can get all that preliminary stuff out the way. So I turn it on, and first of all, I'm sitting here like, okay, the place I pre-ordered my CD key didn't have it delivered to me yet. But I was like, okay, well, they probably haven't delivered it because, you know, they have a weird-ass time where they have to set it up and everything, right? I finally get it, like, right as I'm getting ready to, like, start my workday. And I get the CD key. So I go ahead and I plop it into Steam so I can go do the preload. The Steam page says it's not available until tomorrow. And I was like, oh, hell no. So
hell yes. No.
So I do a little bit of looking around. And I found a PC Gamer article that says when will Monster Hunter Rise on PC be available in your area? So it starts breaking them down by time zones and stuff like that. So so come to find out that it won't go live until 12 noon today. So I was like, okay. I was like, y'all some fuckers, first of all, because thinking back on it now, that's exactly what happened with Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter World Iceborne on PC. They flipped that switch, like late as fuck during the day. And also like Monster Hunter Rise was late as hell on Nintendo Switch, because I pre-ordered that shit and it didn't show up until like 2 a.m. on that night it released. So yeah. So I had to work. I had to work all day, and I couldn't play. I was almost late to the show because I was playing Monster Hunter.
As someone who was pretty big in the PS3 space on digital games, at least it's that early. Because on the PS3, like if you're waiting for, I don't know, one of the best games of all time, Spelunky, to release on PS3. You took a day off for it, or let's be honest, I called in sick. It didn't act. I think it was supposed to at 2 p.m. Eastern, but for some reason it didn't until like 4. And then by the time it actually downloaded, like I had evening plans, so it's just like I didn't get to play it. So yeah, I feel you completely.
Yeah, so now I'm sitting here like, you know what? It's going to be a long night of podcasting, and am I actually going to go to bed at adult hours, or am I going to be up half the night playing Monster Hunter?
You're going to be up half the night.
The latter.
Because I want.
You're an adult. That's an adult hour.
Because I want to get through all the urgents just so I can just like run straight to online.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
so
thought you basically could.
Yeah, you can. You have to do well. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, what you have to do for every two rungs of village quest you do, you get a license to skip one whole online tier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look at that, Corey. I'm telling secrets. So when we do our Hunters for Hire runs,
I hear you. I hear you. I booted.
I played a lot of Rise on Switch. I played more Rise than I ever played of World, and Rise was a way better time.
How much time do I have on Rise on the Switch? Let's find out.
I think I have 70 hours. But
let me see. Oh wait. You know what? The guild card is all borked. It doesn't tell you what it's supposed to tell. It used to tell you anymore.
That darn guild card. I hate that when that happens.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me, so I have to exit.
We know you don't know what we're talking about, Corey.
You don't know
but the
that.
sad part is he will know soon.
You don't know that. Hey, I played some Monster Hunter this year. Not Rise.
You played Stories. You played Stories too.
I did. It was fun.
How was that?
I liked it. I enjoyed my time with it.
Cool.
Okay, I have a whopping 122 hours in Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. You know what that's telling me? Like, I just don't enjoy playing Monster Hunter on Nintendo consoles, because when Monster Hunter 3 came out on the Wii, I barely spent any time on that. Like, I got through all the content, and when I looked at my time overall, I was like, man, 90 something hours. Wow, I did not enjoy this game.
Really?
Whereas over on Monster Hunter Rise, both my time for PS4 as well as the PC, I have over 1,300 hours.
You know what you sound like? You sound like a typical Destiny player. Oh, I spent hundreds of hours in this game and it sucks. There's not enough to do. I spent 500 hours in this game. I
only spent 100 hours on. Anyway, I guess I was going to be talking about what I was playing this past week, because I only played like 90 minutes. Well, not even 90 minutes of Monster Hunter Rise today on the PC. But what I have been playing most of the week was more Mass Effect, which I've been having a wonderful time. And now, like, Austin's jumping on the bandwagon. He's like, "Oh, I gotta beat what I'm playing right now, so I can get on Mass Effect and be like my boys LeRon and Stoy." We're starting this incursion to everybody in Boss Rush. Like, everybody's gonna be playing Mass Effect.
My plan was to start Mass Effect over break, and we did so much over break that I just didn't play anything. So, whoops. So now I have to finish Guardians of the Galaxy before I start Mass Effect. That's what I gotta do.
Yeah,
You're still on Guardians?
I mean, a little inside baseball.
He boots up Guardians, then it just triggers his Destiny thing.
Hey,
it's like,
no,
oh, crap.
This is the 5th podcast I've recorded this week, so.
Stephanie's like, you haven't beat Guardians yet? Get with the fucking program,
I'm trying.
Stephanie's like, I fucking beat Guardians. What's your problem?
I'm trying. Last night I didn't even upload standard def last night after we were done recording. Okay, I went and sat down on my couch and played Guardians for 2 hours and fell asleep.
Tisk. Man, what is this person you are becoming?
I know. Gosh, I didn't.
A father. Stephanie, I think we're still on you, if I remember.
No, we're on the wrong.
Oh, we are? Okay, I just remember, I remember talking about Doug hates his job and then just somehow veering into Monster Hunter.
Hey, I don't know how. Whatever. But yeah, Monster Hunter.
We never know how we get places.
Our guest mentioned it, and I had a soapbox to jump on all of a sudden. That's how it happened.
That's fair.
Fair.
Oh yeah, and then Mass Effect. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Corey, so I take it that you haven't been playing much, huh? Or is he distracted?
Yeah. The curtain is open.
Yep, I see.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh no. Parenting duties.
Yep. Some went on.
Well, since you mentioned
the Call of Duty.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Ratchet and Clank, the PS5 that I ordered is a bundle, and it comes with Ratchet and Clank, so I cannot wait to boot
Good
that.
Shit.
Yeah, I've got a bundle with that and Sackboy's Big Adventure, which I have not touched yet.
Okay.
But I do want to play that because I do like the Little Big Planets.
What else is in your bundle, Stephanie?
So, that's just it. Ratchet and Clank and 2 controllers.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'll take it, and it's the disc version of the PS5, and that I do prefer it. I do like physical copies, So, and I can obviously continue to play DVDs too. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Astrobot's Playroom.
Oh yeah, don't
sleep on that. It's one of the best games you'll play. Like, it's really good.
It's crazy. Everyone says that, so I'm definitely gonna have to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's free. First of all, it comes with your system.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, my PS4 Pro that I got came with Spider-Man, and it's not because I didn't want to. I just haven't played it. Believe it or not, I just haven't played it. It's still in its like plastic wrapping. I'm ashamed to admit it. I'll get to it.
I bought The Witcher 3 day one, and it's still wrapped in plastic too. I'm just basically just laughing at everybody telling me to play it. I'm like, nah, not gonna do it because you want me to so badly. No, still haven't. At this point, I'm not angry. You're angry, and I'm okay with it.
To be fair, you should just buy it on sale and play the digital version, and then you should stream it, and then have the physical copy just sitting on the table, still wrapped up.
I like that energy. I'm gonna do it.
Somebody's gonna get pissed.
Somebody, yeah.
Oh.
Or actually, or I could just borrow it off of someone's account. So
I mean, you could. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Corey, it's your turn.
Ah,
yeah.
It is.
We've been distracting the audience.
Yeah. Also, my shift button is stuck. I don't understand why, but it's okay. So I have been playing Guardians of the Galaxy. I am on chapter 13. So, and I think there's 16 chapters. So,
almost there.
I know. It felt like the last thing I did felt like that should have been the last thing. And then now I'm going to fight Fin Fang Foom, apparently. So.
Oh, I love that level, and that name is just freaking hilarious. Bing Fang Foom. And I thought it was going to be some silly creature given the name, but it's a great fight.
I thought it was going to be a giant up a beanstalk.
Bing Fang Foom.
I've read that book to my daughter for like 6 months straight, so like nice. Every night for 6 months straight. She loves it. She thinks it's funny when you say fee fi fo fum. Because then she'd be like, fee fi fo fum. So you can probably hear her. She's up still. Neat.
Fun.
Yeah. I've also been playing Metroid Dread again.
All right.
Glad to see you haven't given up on that.
Nope. I found the elevator I needed, which was really neat to figure out that there's an elevator that I just ignored the whole time. The whole time I was playing.
Don't you feel dumb?
I told you this game makes me feel dumb.
It doesn't make me feel smart either. Like, I think I'm stuck on the second Emmy that you have to fight, and I'm like, I'm just running around in circles until this thing catches me.
Yeah,
So
I'm telling you, there's an elevator in there. That's the part I was stuck on, and there's an elevator.
I did not want a Resident Evil game. I just didn't.
How dare they put Resident Evil in my Metroid?
I played Resident Evil 2 last year because I'd never played it before. Last year for we do a game club every so often, and Resident Evil 2 was one of ours. And now Resident Evil 2, freaking great game. If you've never played it, play the remake. It's really fun.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're not I'm not a huge horror game fan. I like horror movies. Not a horror game fan just because horror movies like hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're done. Whereas I don't need this thing chasing me for like 15 hours. Got enough anxiety in my life. But Metroid Dread, those Emmys, man. At least in the Resident Evil, there's like a way you can sort of be in the same room with Mr. X and kind of just walk around him because he's not moving fast. Where those Emmys do not, they're like, no, I'm here to take your lunch.
They'll get
give
you
me that lunch, and then I'm going to shove you in a locker, nerd.
And my achievement on Metroid was like learning to successfully like combat those suckers. Like I wound up getting like a 75% like win ratio against the enemy anytime I had an encounter. And then when I did my second run through, because I took 2 weeks off from it, I couldn't remember the timing anymore to fight them, and I was like, man, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like I'd gotten so good that if I had missed the first attack, I got the second attempt.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to the point where I wasn't fucking around, and then they're like, "Oh, we remember you. Like, watch this." when my second playthrough happened.
Yeah. So I've been messing around with that, and then what was the other game I was playing? I mean, I've been playing a lot of Halo, also, and when I have like 20 minutes to spare, and I don't feel like trying to, put my brain into any thought of anything. So
that Halo's real good.
Yeah, Halo's all right. It's all right. But I'm waiting for Guardians to be over so I can play Mass Effect, because that's where I'm at.
Man, we're waiting for Guardians to be over from you. Jeez.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay. Gosh. I'm waiting for a lot of things. Okay. Just waiting for a lot of things. But that's kind of all I did. Oh, I've been watching the Book of Boba Fett as well.
I need to start. Like I'm 3 episodes behind now. I need to start.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes. It's fine, I think. I don't know. It's slow, but I think there's going to be a big payoff, so guess we'll find out.
I did watch the opening to Eternals.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that opening scene, wow.
Yeah. And then what? You just got tired of...
I was like, I have to play Monster Hunter.
Oh, of course, Monster Hunter. All right. Well, that's all I've been doing. So we're going to transition into a topic. Matt, you're our guest this evening. Your topic is up first. As he swishes around.
Okay, so my topic is, and then I don't know how this applies to everyone but me, because this has been sort of a theme for me over the past few years. Are there gaming genres or styles of games that you were pretty big fans of when you were a kid, and then you just somehow stopped doing it? And then
I want to go first. Have
you come back to them, and what has brought you back?
Okay.
Because for me, it's 2 things. For me, it's fighting games predominantly. I was pretty big. I grew up in Iowa, and I was pretty big into fighters when I was a kid. And my dad would take me to the grocery store. They had like 5 or 6 machines. Now this is pre Street Fighter becoming huge, but there was a game called, I think it's pronounced Yi Kung Fu. It's basically the first real 2D fighter ever. I'm not really going to get into the video game history about it because someone will probably be like, well, actually, it's this game. That's the first two because it's the first one I remember playing. But I would basically play that, and generally anybody that stepped up to the machine against me, I was pretty likely to beat them. And then, you know, it was like in a comic book shop that was near my house. They had Street Fighter machines, and I would step in and I would basically just beat just about everybody that stepped up. And then eventually, like, I would play on consoles, and my friends and I would probably be pretty evenly matched. But eventually I just stopped playing. And the other one is racing games. I do like a good arcade racer. I'm not really a Forza guy. Was never a Gran Turismo guy, but when for the last thing Corey and I did, Burnout Paradise Remastered came back out, and I did a little piece for that. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna try and find more arcade racers because I do like kart racers. Like I was big into Mod Nation Racers on PS3, but what really brought me back to both genres respectively, there was a game last year that came out called Art of Rally. It's on Game Pass. Yeah, I know, Bagel. I'm gonna talk about it. Just chill. It's basically it's a polygonal arcade racer where you're the only car on the track. It's beautiful environments to look at, and it has some of the sickest synthwave soundtrack that you could really listen to. And because you're the only car on the track, but you're still like trying to grapple with finishing first in terms of like managing your time, it's somehow very, very chill. So like, you know, I'm a healthcare worker, and being a healthcare worker in 2021 and 2022, it's exhausting, and you need something to chill out to. And Art of Rally was that for me last year. It wasn't my overall game of the year. It was number 2, but I also got back into fighting games in a big way because I decided to pick up Under Night, In Birth, Late, EXE, parentheses, C. I think that's the one I have. You know, anime fighters have good names, y'all. And I actually sat down with my wife, and she and I started playing, and we're both button mashers. We're not really, we're not about to be in the FGC anytime soon, but both of us were laughing our respective asses off at just how bananas some of the animations and the fighting things that we were doing got. And we ended up getting into Guilty Gear as well. We've played some Dragon Ball Fighters. I got her to play some Smash, which is a sentence that could be full of double entendres. And yeah, so like fighters and racers have been the ones that like I was gone from for a very long time, but came back to, and am now like one of my games of the year last year was this indie game on itch.io called Arcus Chroma, and it reminded me a lot of it's a 2D pixelated fighter that has juggle mechanics, and the animations in it are smooth like a Guilty Gear or a Blaze Blue or an Under Night, but it has the button layout of like Pocket Fighters or even like old school Nintendo controllers. Like there's not a lot of buttons. That's basically what I'm getting at. So you don't have to remember weird length combos to really get anywhere. And that game specifically brought a lot of memories for me of basically like my dad coming to whatever arcade I was at and watching me play fighters against people that would get really mad that someone who was barely a teenager basically took $3 worth of quarters from them. Because
that was the arcade life.
Yeah, like, and it got to the point where there was one point where I just said, "That's what you get for choosing Zangief to somebody," and my dad goes, "Yeah, Zangief sucks. He has no clue." It was great.
God, I remember being a grown ass adult and wanting to fight kids in the damn arcade because like they just outclassed me in fucking fighting games. I remember that shit. I was it was like you have to catch yourself like it's 9-year-old. You can't just go all primal on a 9-year-old in a public space.
Right. I mean, I was never really great at the Mortal Kombat games, but I could hold my own with Liu Kang against just about anybody when I was playing them. I haven't tried any of the modern ones, and I want to, but I don't. Getting into a fighter is a lot of work anyway. So trying to get into multiple it almost becomes a PhD course level of studying, and I don't have that kind of time. But yeah, fighters and racers, especially the arcade ones, still real good. There's one on Switch called Super Pixel Racers. Check that out. It's like Super Off-Road and RC Pro-Am had a baby, and it rules. What about you guys?
LeRon, you were begging to go first.
I was begging until he like flipped the question. Okay. Well, a genre of gaming that I definitely loved when I was younger, like thrived on it, was definitely RPGs. Like I was all about RPGs, all from like the NES era all the way through to the PS2 era, and then the PS2 era, like Sony had a way of just every JRPG was on a Sony system, and I believe I overloaded on that because by the time what was the last JRPG game that I played on PS2, because like I didn't play anything on PS3. But I think the last JRPG I played was Rogue Galaxy. Wonderful game.
Oh, that's a good one though.
Wonderful game, but it was essentially the game I retired on. I retired JRPG and RPGs in general. As a matter of fact, like I went to like this RPG exile, and I didn't come back until Mass Effect.
I think it was KOTOR that brought me back.
KOTOR is also good. But yeah, like but I did notice when I was playing Mass Effect is one of my favorite like franchises in gaming. I did notice though when I got back into it, I was like, man, I understand why I actually stopped playing like RPGs. Like RPGs somehow along the way got really stale. It was like they just couldn't do anything more with RPGs. BioWare did do a few things differently, to make Mass Effect stand out, but Mass Effect 1 still felt like your typical RPG.
And that's why Mass Effect 2 and 3 are basically third-person shooters.
Action games, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so RPGs, I will say it's still a hard sell for me because like for example, like Cyberpunk. The only reason why I even got into Cyberpunk is like it's an RPG, but it's skinned really well as a first-person shooter. So it's one of those situations where I just pick and choose. Like the other genre, if we're doing two genres, the other genre I will also admit was racing games. Like I not to use a pun, but I burnt myself out on racing games, like because I was hardcore Gran Turismo. And then when I had enough of Gran Turismo, I was in Need for Speed, and like it all ended with Burnout. Like Burnout Paradise was in my opinion, was the last good racing game I played. Until Forza Horizon. Like I stayed away from GT4, GT. What was the PS3? No, I'm sorry, the PS4 Gran Turismo. It was Gran Turismo
Sport. Yeah.
Gran Turismo Sport. Yep, skip that one. I don't really have many plans on GT7, but Forza Horizon, Forza Horizon definitely got me. I was like, man, I was playing the hell out of that game until I stopped. But at least I will I will actively pick up Forza Horizon right now. You know, maybe then when the next Burnout game, if that ever fucking happens, you know, like I'll be back. But yeah,
I mean, I quit holding my breath, but you know, Burnout Paradise is still good.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, like I had to buy that game again when it came out on Switch.
Yeah,
Yep, that's me in the nutshell though. Like RPGs and racing games.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like JRPGs is definitely the big one. I played a ton of JRPGs, mostly because like I never had a PS1 or, you know, so I didn't really play any of those. And then when I got a PS2, I ended up playing most of the major PS1 and PS2 JRPGs just because I missed them. And I think let's see, the last JRPG I played that I really loved, I think, was Lost Odyssey on the 360. It is by Mistwalker, a bunch of ex-Square Enix and the creators of Final Fantasy went off to make their own studio. And
didn't Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey come from that?
Yeah, Blue Dragon,
okay.
Lost Odyssey, Last Story, and then they made a couple mobile RPGs. One of them is actually on Apple Arcade right now, and I hope it comes.
Is that Fantasian or?
Yeah.
I played a little bit of that.
Yeah, the one where like the world looks like a diorama of something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so cool looking. But I played Lost Odyssey, and then I was just like, man, I'm just burnt out on JRPGs, and then I never really went back. You know, I played Tales of Arise this year or last year, but like that's an action RPG. It's not really a JRPG. So I mean,
that's a JRPG.
I mean, in a traditional sense, the turn-based kind of JRPG it's not. It's action.
You Google JRPGs, Dark Souls shows up because it's an RPG made in Japan.
I'm gonna Google your face.
Please don't.
No,
you're not going to get anything worthwhile there.
Tales of Arise is legit a JRPG. I like Tales of Arise, and man, when I started playing, I was like, man, this is quintessential JRPG right here.
Mm-hmm. Man, but anyways, that game is great, by the way.
Hell, like the original Monster Hunter was considered a JRPG when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the one genre that I have kind of not gone back to that I used to love. But on the flip side of that, a genre that I really did not care for and I now end up really loving is first-person shooters. Mostly because of Destiny and Halo. But there was a time where like I definitely preferred Gears of War over Halo for a long time. And I mean, I still do.
Incorrect. No, I'm kidding.
I still do, but like I really like first-person shooters now, and that was just something that I just didn't care for at the time. So, also open world games. Apparently, I couldn't stand them, and then I did at one point. So.
And then I did. I didn't like them, and then I did.
Yeah. So, what about you, Stephanie?
So the types of games I played back in the day were limited because I had a family that thought video games were bad for you. But
big same.
Yeah. So, I was limited, and I'll start off with the ones that have already been mentioned. I did start off with a lot of racing games and fighting games, mostly because those types were more available at arcades, so I would just go there and play. And then eventually when I got my own systems, I was playing stuff like Wave Race 64, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Mario Kart 64, fighting games, Tekken 4, Li Xiaolan was my character. I would just kind of cheat, though. I would cheese the same move over and over again and piss off all my friends.
Oh, you mean Mortal Kombat. You mean the one where he lays down on the ground and then does a thing where it kicks the legs out from under you?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a Tekken player.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that Killer Instinct, Killer Instinct, and then Mortal Kombat. But I wasn't good at Mortal Kombat because my cousin owned the game, and he would never teach me or help me with those like the finishing moves. Fatalities. Thank you. Sorry. Because I was not good at fighting games. I was more of a button masher because I was just never great at the combos. And I'm like, just teach me one. He just refused. He was such a dick about it. So, but
don't be Stephanie's cousin. Gatekeeping is for assholes.
And I don't know why. I don't really enjoy racing and fighting games currently, which, you know, I don't know why. Like Forza 5 looks fantastic, and I'm not saying that's a bad game by any means. It's just it just doesn't hold my attention. I blame myself for that. I don't know. One other thing, it makes me sad now because it was actually my biggest comfort game next to Zelda, was Harvest Moon 64. And that was my introduction to like a farming sim or like a sim kind of game. Mm-hmm. And I just found it so relaxing. And I loved how it was like, I don't know if you consider procedurally generated events because no playthrough was the same. Like this day someone would show up at my door, and depending on your action, that person might be in the game for the rest of the time that you're there, and who you romance and stuff. And I just found that very calming at that time. However, as I played later iterations of Harvest Moon, I found it boring, repetitive, same stuff. I bought a game called Little Dragon Cafe for the Switch for $60. And it's a farming sim, but with a dragon. I'm like, how could you go wrong? Not a terrible game, but it was just not interesting, and I'm trying to sell it. Even GameStop won't take it back.
Is it a limited? Is it the limited run version?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
because GameStop does. I don't know why. I'm trying to fix my keyboard. That's why I have a knife. It's not like I'm waving it around.
It's like, oh goodness, I pissed him off.
Yeah, no, but
you mentioned that dragon farming sim one more time.
GameStop will not take limited run games, like at all.
Why?
It's not in their system because they don't sell them.
Interesting. Maybe that's it then.
The only retailer that sells limited run games is Best Buy.
Okay. Okay. All right, that makes sense. So, yeah, I just don't really get into those sims anymore. Even though I did buy Stardew Valley, I didn't start it. So I'm actually a little hesitant to start it because I'm afraid I'm not going to like it. Like, I know it's a great game. Everybody loves it. But because, for whatever reason, tastes change when you get older or as time passes, I don't know.
I've started Stardew Valley like 5 times. And because I put it down and then don't come back for days, sometimes weeks, I never get very far. My co-host on Trivial Merit is like, she's very into Stardew Valley, and I believe her when she gets on her kicks, like her Twitter will just be full of it. So
nice. I think the last. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, Animal Crossing for me is that game. I'd never bought Animal Crossing because I knew I wasn't gonna like it. And then when New Horizons came out, everybody was talking about it, and I'm like, fine, I will try it. And then I got chased around the island by an Easter bunny. And
oh God, no!
I had to go.
Don't bring that up.
I had to go hunt for eggs and fossils, and then I had to fish, but then I wasn't fishing correctly. I'm like, I can't do this shit.
Yeah. I have a weird personality where if something becomes all the rage and mainstream, I like just absolutely vehemently refuse to take part in it. So when Animal Crossing became very popular, I'm like, no, I'm not going to play it because everybody else is.
No.
When Animal Crossing was popular the first time, I skipped out on it.
So, And last one is, casual play games. Like, the only one I can really think of was Rampage. Like, I'm referencing a lot of N64 games. I'm sorry. It's just literally the first console I ever got. So a lot of my memories go to that.
N64.
And I remember loving the hell out of Rampage. Like, I would beg my dad to rent and re-rent that game from Blockbuster. Remember those days? And then I had a family reunion with my cousins in New Jersey, and we went to this, like, I don't know if you'd call, like, it's not an arcade. It's just like a place where you play all retro games. Like, all retro consoles are all set up throughout the room, and you just go play games. It's pretty awesome. The first thing I did was pick up Rampage on the N64, and after like a minute, I'm like, why don't I love this? Last time I played it, I loved it.
Maybe you just got burnt out on it.
Maybe. So I know a lot of this was me talking about games or genres I loved as a kid and don't love anymore. I'm not trying to be down on all those genres, but
I mean, isn't that the topic though? I mean, that's fine. There's a
yeah,
lot of
but I just feel like there's
I mean, there's things that I know like the one thing that I don't like when people do is revisionist history. Is when they like say they don't like something and then they'll turn around now and say, "Oh yeah, I loved it when it came out." You know, that's like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like
go on with that bullshit.
Or like they loved it when it came out and then they turn around and say, "Oh my gosh, that game sucked when it came out." And I'm like, "No. You just want to be part of the cool kids, you know?"
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say though is now that I have Game Pass, that has been the new gateway of me retrying or trying genres either I never liked or grew out of. So, I'm trying to think of an example. Well,
play
Far
Art of
Cry 6.
Rally. It's on Game Pass. It's really good. Just saying.
Okay. All right. Writing that down. One example is roguelikes. I've never gotten into roguelikes, but because Hades is on Game Pass, I can't lose by just trying it. And you know what? It's not that bad. Still not my favorite genre, but I'm glad I played it, and now I'm going to give Dead Cells a shot too.
Oh man, you're just triggering me now.
Matt, remember when you and Moose got me to play Dead Cells for like a week?
Yep. And you hated us for it.
I did. Because like it was
not that damn bad.
It wasn't bad.
Great. It's rules.
It's not a bad game until you have to die and start over.
Corey, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this with
This is why you can't have nice things, D-Rig.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this with the utmost of love for you, man. Get good, Jesus Christ.
No, I don't have time for that.
Dying is part of the principle in almost every damn video game. Come on. How many times have you wanted to punch babies in playing Mega Man 1? Come on now.
I mean,
he's not old enough for Mega Man 1.
I am old enough for Mega Man 1, first of all, but I never played Mega Man 1. The only
Mega Man 1 sucks.
The only NES games I played were Super Mario, Ninja Turtles, and the really terrible Tom Sawyer game my parents bought me. Okay, that was basically just a really terrible version of Bayou Billy. Okay, so
I remember as a kid, I played Mega Man 2 before I played Mega Man 1, and I enjoyed the fuck out of Mega Man 2. So so I was like, oh, okay, let me go play the first game. Okay, the first game not only was hard, but it was also like insulting how hard it was because like you'd be running with Mega Man and when you would stop running, he would slide for like 4 frames. Yeah. And if you're like real close to the edge of something, you're dead because there's nothing you can do on that. Like that's an insult. Like it was like Mega Man 1 was getting you ready for ice stages before ice stages were a thing because Mega Man 2 had one ice stage and that was Flashman stage. Yeah, but every stage in Mega Man 1 might as well have been Flashman stage.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I understand what I can and can't do. It's okay. Just not for me. What else did you make me buy, Matt? That underwater ship game that was brown.
There was that one episode where you just basically said, "Yeah, my PS4 home screen looks like I stole your guys' games."
Yeah.
Pretty sure like Super Meat Boy was one of them.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Super Meat Boy though. I'm glad you got
Binding of Isaac.
Binding of Isaac. Did you buy the new one? You bought the new one, didn't you?
I haven't yet.
No, that's a lie.
I haven't yet.
Matt, that's your favorite game of all time. You did not buy that game?
No, it's not.
Yes,
my favorite game of all time changed that changed post Nerds Gone Rogue. It's Outer Wilds. Stephanie though was talking about roguelikes, and I'm trying not to just lose myself and start throwing games at her.
Don't do it, Stephanie. I listened one time in 170 episodes. I listened to him one time, and I hated myself for 6 months. Okay, so.
I still have to get through Hades and Dead Cells, so I'll keep myself very busy.
That's fair.
Actually, Dead Cells has DLC now, which look cool. Well, I love their trailers.
Basically released DLC every year since that game came out.
Oh, okay.
I think
It's ridiculous.
What was like? What is like 2 different DLCs for it now?
I think there's 3.
There's 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's not even. I think there was something happened with the developer. Like they broke away, and the people who kept working on Dead Cells are they're from the developer, but they're not the same developer anymore. I don't remember all of the history behind it, but
yeah, because
Dead Cells is dope. I hope you like it. I'm glad you like Hades, because Hades is really fun.
Dead Cells is definitely worth the $20 price tag.
And don't let anybody gatekeep you. You can turn on God mode in Hades, and you don't lose anything. That game is still fun.
You can do that? Mode. Oh, I might actually play Hades now.
Yeah.
Cool. I could turn off the roguelike in a roguelike. I might enjoy
That's not true. No, it's still a roguelike. Nope. You still have to start over.
Nope. You said I wouldn't lose anything.
You don't. You don't, actually.
This guy.
But what does "you don't lose anything" mean in terms of a roguelike?
No.
Because if you want to talk about the philosophy of a genre, we can do that.
I just work here. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm trying to fix a shift key on my keyboard right now, so it's angering me. Well, that was a good topic.
I'm glad you never listened to me in getting into vinyl. I'm glad you didn't fall down that.
Yeah, well, I already know I'm not into music, so I mean that.
Fair.
So, who has another topic? Who's up?
Stephanie mentioned it, and I said I was going to bring it up during last week's show. But what is your go-to comfort game? What is it?
Comfort game.
I mentioned it earlier, but it's Mega Man 2. It's a cross between Mega Man 2 and 3. I can't decide. But here, let me set this up though. For what I classify as a comfort game, is the game that you just want to play and beat in one sitting, you just want to kill in an afternoon or something, or is it one of those epic adventures that just takes you away from everything and you get it's like reading a good book sometimes. A lot of people, it takes a few days to read a book, and they do video games the same way. I'm going to get lost in this game for a few days, like that. Like I was saying, for me, I can't decide between Mega Man 2 and 3. When I just want to just say fucking afternoon, I'm playing one of those games, and I usually just play it till completion, and I'm done.
Nice. For me, I've already mentioned one of them, and that's only back then. I don't do this now, but when I was in my younger years, it was Harvest Moon 64. Again, I don't know what it was. It's maybe just the repetitive of you know what I mean. The repetitiveness, and you're farming and nature and all that crap. I don't know. And everyone's so nice and happy and in this beautiful pastoral land and world where there are no troubles. But nowadays, I haven't done this in a while, but it would be Ocarina of Time. I would just go and play that. And it's the one game that I know completely front, back of my hand. And if it's my comfort game, as a comfort play, I won't try to 100% it or anything. I just want to run through that entire game, and I can make a pretty decent dent in one sitting because I know everything, and I just go temple after temple after temple. I will do the whole the 3 areas in the child when Link is a child once, and I don't know. I think it's mostly the familiarity of it that it's the game I'll always go back to. And the expansion pack, say what you will about the pricing and whatever, now it's on the Switch, so I don't have to pull out my N64. It's just even more convenient for me. So,
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Ocarina of Time because one of my other comfort games is Link to the Past.
Good one.
Corey, or do you want me to go?
You can go.
So this one probably changed the most for me over the course of my gaming life. For a long time, it would just be a game that I liked. But now I can sit down with. Now that it's out on PS5, I can sit down with Demon Souls and.
Oh, that's a comfort game.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you should look at this guy. No, dude, when we were doing our old show, he played Bloodborne for like 3 years of it. So
Well, no, you're confusing me with Moose,
No.
because he played Bloodborne for a long time. I will play Demon Souls. Demon Souls is my second favorite game of all time.
Oh my god, what do you chase that with? Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
No. No, that game's just bad. I don't think that game's very good, to be honest with you.
No, it's not good. It's not good, but it's damn fucking hard.
Don't read our latest Boss Rush banter from Ed.
Oh no, Ed
you're talking about the one where he was talking about the Ghost and Goblin series, the greatest of all time? Like, I'm like, dude, no.
No, he said it was the only hardcore game ever made, or something.
That's a fucking lie. Like the Battletoads versus Dungeons and Dragons that like eats that shit for breakfast.
Like Ed and I have had our talk about about Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and I think the Souls games they're difficult if you're new, and they just, in fact, From Software's games as a whole since Demon Souls, and I think a lot of the gaming world at large has sort of picked up on this. They're not difficult, really. Like, they just want you to learn them. If you want to talk about accessibility and all of those type of options, that's kind of a different conversation.
Mm-hmm. I don't think those games are actually that difficult. They just require a lot of patience.
The Souls games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all it is about learning the patterns. And you know what? And it's kind of easy to say that about like games like old as hell, like like Ghosts and Goblins and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But those games were built with like those. They were built with
the old school arcade mentality where they wanted to take your quarters.
Yeah. So like
they were hard for longevity's sake.
Yeah, mm-hmm. shit was random. Like I remember one time, like, God, how long ago was it? I want to say it was about at least 10 years ago, right? Because we used to have this arcade in Virginia Beach that we that I go to. I believe it's still there, Flipper McCoy's, but I don't get out that way much.
It's still there. We went a couple years ago when we went. It's still there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's got all those old school ass games there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ghouls and Ghosts was my shit. Like I played it to death on Sega Genesis and stuff like that. So one weekend, me and my friends, we went there, right? And I was like, and I had my last 2 tokens, right? And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna blow my tokens on Ghouls and Ghosts, and I basically one shot at it. Off of 1 token, like I got to the end of the first run, and of course you have to repeat it and everything, right? But what I didn't realize is like when people realized that I was actually playing it and I was still on my 1 credit, like I had a crowd behind me, and they're like, "Are you this good at the game?" I'm like, "No, I just got lucky." Mm-hmm. I just got lucky.
But I also like the Persona games a lot. Like now that I repurchased a PlayStation Vita. It's nice to boot up Persona 3 or Golden.
Yeah, Golden.
And just sit in those environments for a couple of scenes because it's just comforting to me. But honestly, there's a game I think about a lot that it's probably nowhere near. If I were to sit down and honestly think about like my favorite games of all time, it's nowhere near that. But I love Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Yes,
the arcade version, not the one that was on consoles, just because the one that was on consoles was not great.
I never played the arcade version.
Oh, okay, yeah. The arcade one. When I started dating after my divorce, there's a barcade here. And where you can go get alcohol and play arcade games. Who knew that would be a good invention? Mm-hmm. Girl proposed to meet there. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We had a few drinks, talking. She's like, you want to play some games? I'm like, yeah, I want to play some games. Got there. I don't remember if it was quarters or tokens we had to get there. But anyway, I got a token. Put it. I'm like, oh, they have Moonwalker. I'm going to play that. And this woman stood there while I beat Michael Jackson's Moonwalker in 1 credit. And she's like, so I'm going to go. And I'm like, all right. And I stayed and kept playing Moonwalker.
That's awesome.
Clearly, the date went well. But yeah, so like Souls games, I mean, Outer Wilds is really good to just sit down in because that music is wonderful. Andrew Pralov's music is great in that, and plus the game style is really good. Yeah, games are actually pretty comfortable.
Oh yeah, just in general,
not all of them, except for maybe the bad ones.
Well, that and you just don't play the games you don't enjoy. Everyone has different tastes, and I don't know. I just don't know why some people just try to power through games that just because they feel like they need to play it because everyone's talking about it. I think that's the only time it's never comforting. But then that's their own damn fault.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it. People who write about games for a living, like I get it that work can be hard. I'm not going to sit here and say quit complaining you're playing games all day because that's not right either.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that some people who have reviewed AAA games that are just completely outside of their wheelhouse have had a bad time. And and that can affect review scores, whatever. So it's a complicated subject, a lot of nuance, and we can't really nail it all down in 3 minutes. But consumers play what you like, not necessarily what everyone says is good. Because I've missed plenty of games that I've ended up loving. Because I was more worried about playing what was new. Like I started playing the Yakuza games this year as a sort of goal. I'm going to play through all 8 of them. And Yakuza 0 starts off, and I'm kind of in love already. I'm like 3 chapters in, and I've stopped a high school porn ring. I've taught a punk band how to be punks. And I've been kicked out of the Yakuza, and I'm slowly working my way back in. And I've also met another character named Goro Majima, who might actually end up being my hero by the time I'm done with it. He's kicked out of the Yakuza, and now he just runs a nightclub, and he tries to be the customer service employee that other customer service employees should aspire to be, and it's wonderful. Play the Yakuza games. They're fun.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of like game, you play what you want to play instead of listening to like review scores and stuff. My game of the year all the way up until Halo came out last year was Outriders. So, I mean, that game.
I completely missed Outriders, and I kind of regret it.
It's on Game Pass.
Right, but I actually have it.
Oh.
But I just haven't played it.
No, that's fair.
Don't be like me and create a backlog with your wallet. It's bad.
Oh, too late.
Too late.
To be fair, I have not purchased a single game this year yet. So
doing better than I.
Right. Well, you bought a whole console. Okay, I have like a whole console to catch up to you.
Right?
My wife and I almost started the backlog conversation because I told her I'm going to play all 8 Yakuza games because I've never played them and I have them. She's like, "Why do you have 8 games you haven't played?" I'm like, "Oh, that's adorable."
Oh.
I was going to say, games is not that bad for backlog.
Right? Yeah.
When I tried to explain to my wife, she was like, "Why do you need another game?" I'm like, that's cute.
Honey.
Why do you need another baby?
Bless your heart. Oh, no, don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
No, bad comparison. No, back out. Check.
I'm just kidding. I was trying to be funny. Oh, boy.
It's like Sana's in the back listening. She's like, "I will kill you when you sleep."
Nope, she's not. All right. Good topic. Comfort. Oh, I never gave my comfort game, I guess. Not that it's a secret.
Sure as hell.
Not that it's a secret, but Destiny is like my comfort game. Because it's mindless and I know what I'm doing all the time.
See, I didn't include I didn't put Monster Hunter in there because like Monster Hunter, I'm going to be playing all damn day. I'm gonna be playing all damn day because like I'm that guy that I play Monster Hunter in shifts. Like I it's nothing to do 8.5 hours of a Monster Hunter session. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say this: like when I got really good at Monster Hunter Rise, like I could jump in a Nargacuga hunt and be in and out in like a half hour. I felt like that was good.
Yeah.
And for a while, that became a nice comfort game in 2021. Plus, like I had a group of co-op friends that were just wonderfully hilarious to hunt with, like Atma, who would basically, when we started to hunt, all four of us would go 4 different directions, and then whoever found the monster, we all just collapsed on their position. They're like, I got this monster. But every time, all the three of us would be on the monster, and Atma would show up last and riding another monster. Didn't matter what monster it was, she would be riding a monster and say, just back out of the way, I'm coming in. And it was always hilarious. It was Monster Hunter Rise rules. If you haven't played it because you are anti-Switch, play it on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is out on PC now. As LeRon noted at the top of the show. We'll say he noted.
Hey, I'm the guy who ran a Monster Hunter show for 4 episodes at Boss Rush. Of course I'm going to note it.
Hey, it's yeah, it's fair. All right, good topic.
Nice.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Boss Rush podcast. I want to thank everybody for watching. And
I just want to mention that someone.
Oh, no.
I saw a question earlier.
We had a question?
Yes.
Did we?
There was a
Yeah,
question.
Brad.
I don't like that.
Yeah, on Twitter. I think it was. Oh crap! I had it up earlier too.
Just wanted to be known. Guest was paying attention.
I didn't know.
Okay, from at Bradley Melville. What color GameCube was the best, and why was it orange? Thanks, Brad, for sending us
we didn't get the orange
And
one.
First of all, boo.
First of all,
Oh no, he's right. He's right. The orange one was the best one.
no, purple is the best one because we didn't get orange in America, so it doesn't count. You European.
I feel like that's unfair.
No, it's
I
fair.
feel like that's just sour grapes.
It's fair. You know what? No. How about the
sour? That's just
the
sour grapes in Ohio. As far
How
as
about
I'm
the
concerned.
silver Panasonic DVD player version of the GameCube? That's the best one because it plays DVDs, and it looks like somebody made it in their garage.
I didn't even know that existed. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it looks weird too. It doesn't like if you look at it, it doesn't even look like a GameCube, but it is, and it says Panasonic on the front, not Nintendo. It's weird. I do have a jet orange controller though.
The orange does look amazing. How come we never get the cool colors?
Because it's Nintendo and they don't like us.
Yeah, facts.
Nintendo does what Nintendo do.
Yeah, for Japan.
Oh, I like
and
that.
And they don't care if we Nintendo don't like it.
Look at that. I love it.
Sorry I missed your question, Brad. That's my fault.
I got you. It's fine.
I'm glad our guest was paying attention. I mean,
Actually, I think it was LeRon that posted it in our chat.
Oh, did he?
I did.
Oh.
I'll hand out credit where it's deserved.
I didn't even look in the chat, so.
Oh boy.
We do care about your questions, so please send us more. We will not forget next time.
Yes, most of us care about your questions, and the one person that forgot to look, I'm sorry, I care, I promise.
I've been taking a knife to my keyboard for so long. I don't know.
I can't figure out why the shift key won't go back in. So all lowercase for now.
I won't make a joke, I promise.
I was holding back too.
That's fair. It's okay. Save the joke for after dark. Yeah, so for me, the purple one for me, I think still. It's iconic. I don't know. It reminds me of a really fun birthday. So I really like the purple GameCube.
As a color, I like purple more than I like orange, but that orange GameCube. I probably like it more because I couldn't get it. Maybe that's my problem.
I mean, you always like what you can. Like, everybody loves the European Super Nintendo controller more than the purple one, right? Because we didn't get it here. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's the real one."
Oh yeah, the one that I have the 8-bit do of, the one where it's the with the red and blue and yellow buttons rather than the purple and gray. Purple and gray was sleeker though, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah,
I do like I do like my dumb things.
That's true. That's a true statement. Anyways, now we're going to end the show. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to the Boss Rush podcast. Remember, you can get the show early for $1 on our Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. And you can catch all of our shows and content on bossrush.net. Matt, thank you for your time this evening. 2 nights in a row. Really.
Thank you for having me. Nice to talk to you again, Corey. I missed you.
I know. I missed you too. It's been a whirlwind.
It's been a time.
Yeah. So if you want to remind everybody where they can find you and your stuff, your internet shows, your podcasts.
You can find me at @infinite_rewind everywhere I want to be. I do co-host 3 podcasts myself. One is called Story Route Zero. That's about video games. We just talk about what we're playing. Sometimes we talk about news, or we talk about why Nintendo is weird, but we're not going to stop playing Nintendo games because they got their hooks in us. I host a podcast about music with my friend Caroline, where we make playlists to make ourselves and hopefully you feel better. 8 songs, any artist, any style, but one at a time. And then I host, that podcast is called Trivial Merit. Don't want to forget the names. And the podcast I host about film is called Freereeling It. It's my buddy Jesse and I. We talk about movies that we watch in general, and we also pick a movie to watch for the show and kind of try and deep dive on it. He's really smart, and he allows me to talk, so I'm ever thankful about that.
That sounds about right.
That tracks. I checked my notes.
Well, Matt, I appreciate you. Obviously, you're welcome here anytime because you are.
You know my number. Look up the name, or vice versa.
Yeah. Stephanie, where can we find you?
Everyone can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Klimov, KLIMOV_author. I write for bossrush.net. And yeah.
Neat. LeRon, where can we find you? I'm sorry, I'm just really excited. I fixed the shift key. I fixed it. It works perfectly fine now.
Capital letter.
It only took me an hour and 3 minutes to fix, but I did it.
Like MF Doom said, all caps when you spell the man's name.
With a knife, some tweezers, and like those weird dental floss picks. Just a regular MacGyver here. LeRon, where can we find you?
MacGyver Deering.
All right, you can find me everywhere. Exodus 803, EXODUS 803. That's social media. That's Twitch and YouTube. Also, my gamer tags for PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. Find me there. Also, don't forget Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Exodus803 for Crossroads PlayStation Podcast in cooperation with the Boss Rush Network. So there you go. And of course, I am one of the wonderful hosts. Well, actually, I'm kind of like the big deal for Boss Rush After Dark.
You're the host of After Dark. You can just say I'm the host of After Dark.
I am the host of Boss Rush After Dark, so you might want to check us out. Like we're looking for people to join our Patreon. If you join that, that's where you can get early access to that show.
2 weeks, I hear.
After Dark is LeRon's world, and we're just living in it.
Oh God, that would be terrifying.
Damn straight.
If I have to live in that world more than an hour a week, I'd be terrified.
Hey, handcuffs, harnesses, and whips. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, jeez. You can find me.
Okay being stabbed. You can't use fire.
I brought a knife.
Hey, remember, this is the end. Did y'all see that movie?
No.
Oh yeah, that movie's great.
Remember, Remember when Channing Tatum showed up? That's
yes.
That's how we get down.
Yes.
That's the end of LeRon's life when Channing Tatum shows up.
LeRon is Channing Tatum. The rest of us are Danny McBride.
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast. You can also find me on various other things here, including Standard Definition. Check that out. Stephanie and I are trading hosting duties there for Disney and Marvel. Also, an Indiana Jones movie marathon thing is going up too, as well. Matt is joining us there.
Yes, I am.
And
we must go to Berlin.
We must go to Berlin. We named the dog Indiana.
Love that. Love it.
I wrote it in my diary so I wouldn't have to remember. Okay, I gotta stop because it's gonna go on for another hour.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Rip, Rogue Spartan 4.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.